What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mindtality podcast. I'm your host, Rodolfo Felix,
and co-host Eric guys.
and we're here to bring you back. What is this, Eric? Number 23?
I believe so. Yeah, just staying strong.
Yeah,
23.
number 23. Respect for LeBron. Baby, he's back, isn't he? I heard he's back.
Listen, the first thing when I hear 23 is Michael Jordan. I don't know about
Okay.
LeBron James.
Okay.
I don't know about LeBron James, but what I do know is that Kobe Bryant just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'm very happy to see that.
Yes, man. Yes. Um, you definitely know that's like a lifelong dream for
Oh
an
yeah.
NBA star. Um, man, that's good to see. It's good. It's unfortunate, dude, how young he was and how he didn't get to spend that moment with his wife and his kids. But the beautiful thing, Eric, about having a wife and kids is knowing that like they carry your legacy on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I seen from these videos. That your legacy will be carried on, even when you're not there. And that's what I see with Kobe, his foundation, his wife, and it's super emotional, dude. It definitely hits a couple chords on the inside.
Yeah, and to see what he's done with the city of Los Angeles and every kid pretty much out there that was yelling Kobe when they're throwing bucket of balled
Bruh.
up paper in a trash can. Like he's influenced a lot of people, and like you said, he continues to his legacy continues in not only just the sports realm, but I mean in every realm of life.
Yeah, I seen a post, and I think his wife might have said it.
Hmm.
That she asked him, like, why don't you just take, the next game off? You're exhausted.
Hmm.
And Kobe was like, no, because what if a family or someone saved up all their money just to see me play one time? And bro, it gave me like chills, it really did. Because I was like, dude, to be at that level, that's how you have to think. Like you have to put yourself in other people's shoes, and you
Hmm.
have to figure out a way to carry the weight of someone else, like what they may be thinking, what they may be experiencing, what you're gonna put someone else through. And that's what
Hmm.
Kobe did. He put himself in other people's shoes, as in like, okay, I'm gonna see Kobe, he's gonna perform well, I'm excited to see him.
Hmm.
And he put that pressure on himself, Eric. His wife didn't,
Hmm.
his kids didn't, and his team didn't. He put that on himself, and that's why he's
Hmm.
great. That's why he's great.
Kobe, whatever he did, he put his mind to it. Did you know he has learned like three different languages or
I
two
knew
or
he's
something like
I
that?
knew he spoke Spanish because like on the USA team that he played on, like in '08, he had
Hmm.
gotten fight like in Spanish. Like he was calling him this and that. And I kept replaying. I was like, no, Kobe's speaking Spanish. Like, what the heck? Yeah,
Yeah,
what's his third language? Is it French?
I think so. Yeah, I
French?
think he's starting to learn French. Yeah, I don't know if he learned it fully or if he just like
Okay.
knows a few like sentences because French and Spanish are fairly similar.
Yes, definitely.
Hmm.
Definitely. And that's always a little plot twist too, is that Kobe actually came from wait, didn't he come from France? He was
Yeah,
out there. His dad
I
played
believe
pro or
so.
something like that.
I believe so.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. Let me go ahead and get the podcast caught up, Eric. As I stated last week, you guys, I've been moving in to my apartment. Um, a lot of moving in, a lot of driving back and forth. We're doing it slow, nice and slow. One, two things at a time. Kind of going, um, buying things as we go. If we're cooking a meal, okay, we need this type of seasoning, blah blah blah. Right. All
Hmm.
right. I also
Gotta
got
have gotta have the seasoning.
You gotta have the seasonings. Listen, you gotta have the seasonings. I met our neighbor. He's pretty cool. Him and his lady. But what I'm really excited to talk about, Eric, on the podcast is the home projects that are coming my way. I got
Mm.
to there's a portable furnace or a fireplace that we got. It's like an electrical fireplace you can pop out if you wanted to like transport it.
Hmm.
Or you can screw that baby in and move it around the house wherever way you want. Um I have to sand that down, paint it a new color. I got a TV mount to put up for our flat screen, and then I have like a corner stand project that I got to work on. Basically, like the same thing, sanding and then painting down. So I'm
Mhm.
excited about these projects. Okay, but I'm not gonna lie to you, Eric. My lady's doubting me.
Oh.
Yeah, but not really, cause like I already shown her like I could do other things. Like I've put up like a bunch of bathroom stands and all this stuff,
Mhm.
a couple other things around the house. But she was like, "No, no, no. I'm not doubting you. It's just I don't know how to do it. So if you don't, I can't help." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Hmm." Hmm. So
Hmm.
I definitely got to perform this next week, Eric.
Well, good thing we have YouTube. YouTube
Yes.
YouTube is the essential to how to do anything really. Anytime I wanted to learn how to do a project, or figure something out, I'm like, I'll just YouTube it.
YouTube.
It's the
Yeah,
way, it's the go-to.
that's all I heard.
Yeah, so you're how, what, about a quarter of the way you said finish?
3/4.
3/4 of the
Yeah,
way.
we just got the living room set and that's it. We're basically in.
Dang. We could potentially our first ever our live podcast.
Yes.
That would
Yes.
be nice. It'd be very
Yes.
nice.
It's around the corner, man. Maybe 2 weeks tops. 2 weeks
Mhm.
tops, and we're gonna go live in person. We're gonna have different camera angles. Um, we'll both have mics. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun.
Looking forward to it. So, just far about as far as about me, I've been trying to get back into a pattern, a schedule, and
Oof.
it's been hard. I'm not gonna lie, and
Yeah.
it's not because of me necessarily. It's more of like outside factors. And then what I mean by that, let me break that down.
Yeah. Let's
I'll
hear
try
it.
and get into a pattern, right? Like patterns of like waking up at this time, you do this at this time and whatever. So I'm trying to set this pattern, but then like you have like my dad needs help, or grandma needs help, or you need to do this, and then you need to break the pattern so you can go help family and do things that you need to get done, if that makes sense. And so sometimes it's hard to get back in that pattern when you keep getting pulled away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough.
Hmm. It's
Uh,
very tough.
it's a balance too, because like you want to be disciplined, but you also understand that some things can wait, like it's
Hmm.
not life and death. But then again, like the purpose of you trying to stay firm with your schedule is to be accountable to that routine that
Hmm.
you're establishing. So how are you doing that whole balance? Like, are you having some success?
I'm having a lot of give and take. So there's times
Okay.
where I'm like, okay, I could probably get some of this done, like my readings that I've been trying to do.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Readings.
My
Ooh.
readings. So I've like I said, I've made it so I only have to read 4 pages a day.
Yes.
And it sounds like such a little task, but you know, it's not. It's really not. So like I'll be there's days where I'll read, and sometimes like I'll read ahead so that the next day, like, okay, like if things come up or I plan things coming up, that way I'm covered.
Yeah.
But then there's been a couple, like the last couple days I've just been busy working. My cousins came down. I didn't know who's coming down, but I need to spend some time with him because I don't know when the next time I'll see him once I
Yeah.
move out to Louisville. So uh just spending some time with him. I haven't been able to do my readings, and just things like that, that you just get pulled away, but it's a good pull away, I guess. You get to spend time with family. But I'll tell you this, when you say I'll do it tomorrow,
Oh,
never gets finished.
never. I'm talking about never. And the worst part, Eric, is when you say, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow." You actually have time then. Like you really do.
That is true. That is true. Because you're in that mind state, like, I could do it now, and you're contemplating in your head, I could do it now, or I couldn't. But then you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow
Uh,
comes, and then it just never happens. Nope,
uh,
never.
yeah, I just made a list last night, and I was like, "Oh, it's literally a to-do list that I made last night for today." And that's just how
Hmm.
bad I am. I've created a list of things to do tomorrow.
I do the same thing.
All right, Eric. I want to transition a little bit. We're gonna fasten our seatbelts here. I wanted to review the statement of being uncomfortable to be comfortable. I wanna see what angle you hit it from, what angle I hit it from, and hopefully we
Hmm.
help out a viewer here because this saying can sound somewhat discouraging because sometimes it's almost like they cancel each other out. So I want you to kind of give us just an idea. It doesn't have to be deep. An idea of what that means to you, and maybe an example.
Mhm. So for me, being uncomfortable in a situation is doing something the right way, or something that you're not used to doing, right? And what I mean by that is like, let's just say a baseball swing. Okay. Baseball swing is, I'm only going to use this analogy because I played baseball and this is what I know. When you are trying a new swing or trying a new technique, right? Because you're in a batting slump, it's gonna feel uncomfortable to try that new swing, right? You're gonna swing, it's gonna be like, "Ah, this just feels weird," you know? Just feels weird, doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. But, it's like the right proper way to swing, you just gotta go back to the basics. Uh, when you keep practicing it, that uncomfortability becomes comfortable now. So you no longer feel uncomfortable when you try and get up in the batter's box and make that swing that you've been practicing on. It's more of second nature, and you're comfortable with it now. So that's my understanding of it. I mean, you could go ahead and translate into life and just say, just regular everyday things of like, oh, it fits uncomfortable for me to wake up at like 6 a.m., but then you start waking up every morning 6 a.m., you stay consistent with it, then it starts becoming like, oh, I mean, I don't mind getting up at 6 a.m. anymore. So that's my kind of interpretation of uncomfortable to comfortable.
Yeah, I love it. So I just have two steps here, and I was thinking about this last night at the apartment. There's two ways. There's two steps that I think about it one way. If that doesn't sound too confusing. Um, so the first step, Eric, is. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The first step for me, Eric, is deciding if this is what you want. And this is the first part of the saying. Being uncomfortable. So you must be uncomfortable. So in this place of uncomfortability, a question should arise, and that is, if like, does this is this what I want to do? Do I really want to play baseball still? Do I really, whatever it may be. An example I can give you guys is, I remember very clearly. It was 2019. It was March. COVID just happened. I got not laid off from my retail job, but somewhat delayed because we're trying to figure out the social distancing. We're trying to figure out whether or not masks were required, if it was safe to be outside. And my company reached out to me and said, "Hey, we understand your store got temporarily closed. Do you want to come help out at a warehouse?" And I said, "Sure." I had never worked at a warehouse prior to this. I've heard stories about it, how horrible it was, the long work, the long hours, heavy lifting, how strict they were, how strict supervisors can be. So I began to feel the word was called uncomfortable.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so and as this uncomfortability began to arise, Eric, that question popped in my head. Is like, do I really want to do this?
Hmm.
And my answer was yes. I wanted to work. At this time, Ali and I were supposed to get married, or we had just gotten engaged, so it was important that I get my savings up. It was crucial
Hmm.
that I bring in a nice check. And so uh the process began a little bit the process began to be a little bit more normalized. Like, okay, I'm working at a warehouse. I've never done this before.
Hmm.
Step two on the process of being comfortable was just realizing the purpose, and that's what we talked about earlier. I'm doing
Hmm.
this because we're gonna get married. I'm doing this so we have money, so we have savings,
Hmm.
and those are the two steps that I guess go through or went through in order to get comfortable. The
Hmm.
third step is simply, going Nike on them and just doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
it's just doing it.
Absolutely, and, it's like think of it like a stepping stool, or you're stepping to the next step, right? To your next place in life, right? You gotta position yourself to, be where you wanna go. So like you said, "Is this what I wanna do?" Like, you gotta think about, well, what are you doing it for, you know? That's what the real question to me when I think of it, like, if the question is this what I wanna do? Well, what's the purpose of me doing this? What am I getting out of this, right?
Yeah.
Is it that I'm getting out of it by trying to get money? Am I
Hmm.
trying to get a better position? Am I trying to make connections while I'm here with people so that when I go leave this place, I have contacts, like you got to think about it, what you're trying to get out of it, right? And if you use that as a stepping stool to the bigger goal, um, then you feel a lot more comfortable going into that bigger goal because you feel like you've done the work. One, two, you've got the experience and the necessary equipment, right? That you've got, you like I've said, you've gotten out of what you asked for. Um, and lastly, you just, you feel prepared. You're prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, and the biggest thing about that statement, uncomfortably comfortable, is that it's a process of multiple steps. Like it's a series of steps.
Mm-hmm.
And to in order to get to that comfortable state, you just have to take things as they come step by step. Um and and I think it doesn't just apply to, like, things that make you uncomfortable, but it could be something that you like that you really want to do, but the uncomfortable thing is you don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And now at this point, it only comes down to, like, you have the desire, you have the reason why. Why am I
Mm-hmm.
doing this? You have the desire to do it. I do wanna do this. Now you just have to figure out how to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that is a state of uncomfortability. And now it's up to you to put in the work to figure out, it could be as simple as a speed bag, in the garage. Start
Yeah.
off one hit, start off with two hit, and then it messes up. One, two, three, then it messes up. And you're uncomfortable because you see movies and they're not even looking and they're doing it and they're hitting it with one and they're hitting it, and you're just like, man, I want that. You envy it. But in reality, um, they started where you are. They were in that comfortable place where you are,
Mm-hmm.
but through hard work and through stepping stones, do 2 minutes on the speed bag for a week and then bump it up to 4 minutes. It's just a process. It's a series of steps. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about this last night, Eric, just the whole comfortable thing, because it's not as deep as people make it to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, you have to slow things down and break it down. And
Mm-hmm.
um and that's just that's I think we get caught up in trying to, like, conceptualize the whole thing and
Mm-hmm.
just take it step by step, break it down. Like, there's a and for example, and I have to talk about this. There's a fight that Canelo had where it was a light heavyweight champion, and this is like Canelo's second belt that he got in the pros. So
Mm-hmm.
this is when he was young, like 24, just
Mm-hmm.
after he lost to Mayweather. And this guy's like six something, 6'3", 6'2". Canel's 5'8", 5'7", just like me.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's speculating, oh, what is it? David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Well, Canelo decided, I don't care. So what he would do is he would kind of cover his face, kind of poke at the chest, and then boom to the side, just like chopping a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Just hit it from the side, same spot. He would work him, and then boom, go to the same spot. And my point is he would hit that spot over and over and over again. He would consistently push and
Mm-hmm.
work for that same exact thing, and boom, the guy, it was a TKO. The guy's ribs broke, and he went down for the fight, like in the seventh round, just
Mm-hmm.
from getting winded, off of those small hits to that consecutive spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that the idea is just practicing, being consistent, working towards something, and staying focused. That idea is still there, and I think that's something that we need to consistently keep ourselves accountable with. Is we need to stay
Mm-hmm.
focused and know what we want to do, and even if it starts off slow, that's probably the easy stage of being uncomfortable. Like, if the only thing about being uncomfortable is that you're not quite sure how to do it, you're in a good spot. Now you just need to work hard to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how can you do it.
And you also got to keep the mindset that it's just only temporary, right? The
Yes,
uncomfortability,
yes.
that's not permanent. It's a temporary thing. Like, and what I mean by temporary, like it it's not forever, but it could be a while.
Yeah, you're bound to
Yeah.
grow. You're bound to
Yeah.
grow.
It's gonna, I mean, it could take a month, 2 months, three, maybe even a week. It's sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. It's depending on what you're doing, but no matter what, it's not permanent.
Yeah.
It's not. If you stay consistent and you stay with it, it's not a permanent uncomfortability. You are bound to be comfortable with it because you become so used to it. So it's almost like a little bit of psychology here. I'm gonna give you a little bit of psychology. It's
Yeah,
called
hit us with there.
exposure therapy, right? When people have phobias, fears of like spiders, water, whatever it might be,
Heights,
they
anything.
heights, the first thing that psychologists do is they try to give a little bit of exposure to that one fear, so that's way, after a long period of time, that person no longer has a fear or phobia of that
Mhm.
one said thing, right? So, if you got like afraid of, I saw this one video, this lady was afraid of a bird, right? So the first thing that the psychologist did was just try to have conversation with the word bird with her,
Ooh.
for like a week. Then the next week it was like, okay, you feel comfortable now with the word bird. Okay. Well, now let's move on to like maybe seeing pictures of a bird,
Yeah.
right? So then they just go through pictures for like, maybe this one took a little bit longer, so it would take like a month. Okay, now it's a month and a week. Now you're comfortable with the word bird and seeing pictures of bird. And then you just progressively get to it to the point where you're holding a bird and you're like, yeah, I feel fine. You're like, yeah, this is I'm comfortable with birds now. I
Yeah.
don't have a
Yeah.
fear of them.
That
That's
tolerance has been risen. Yeah, that
mhm,
tolerance has grown, and this is let's not even mess around, Eric. This is it all comes down to your mind. This is why we created this podcast, because it starts with the mind. You have to have this willingness, this fire, and this like set out like purpose in your mind to do it, and you have to be very intentional, and
mhm,
it could be whatever you be whatever you want it to be. And like this story, it starts off with the word. You're training your mind because
mhm,
you're tired, you're sick of not having it your way, not having it the way you want it.
mhm,
And you there's this moment of like it clicks in your head, and that's what I want to bring out of the viewers. That's what I want to bring out of myself and yourself, Eric,
mhm,
is like giving them the tools they need to grow in whatever
mhm,
field they're in. I've known people, Eric, that want to do public speaking or some type of
mhm.
public speaking who are completely afraid of public speaking, but they want to do it, Eric.
Oh yeah, trust me, I was in that boat. Actually, I had to go through that myself when I was in mock trial and having to do public speaking, right? Because you're going in front of practicing law attorneys, judges, people who have been in mock trial for 4 or 5 years, and I was this the first time mock trial kid, going into it like, I'm gonna try my best and do what I
Yeah.
can, but like it's intimidating to go in
Hmm.
front of like not only like a crowd, but a crowd of intellectual minds where you have
Yeah.
to not you have to make some coherent sentences and make them believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, and the only way I did that is just by practicing in my room, like, talking out loud and
Hmm.
maybe practicing it with my parents, just be like, hey, listen, like I'm gonna give you my closing statement, tell me what you think, and I'll
Yeah.
just practice it. I mean, the closing statement's about 9 minutes long of just talking. And it's not just talking, it's listening to what they had to say and then breaking apart what they had to say and then making your point, better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at first, I mean, it gets nerve wracking. You
It
kidding me? Trying to
does.
talk in front of practicing attorneys and judges, and I'm like this college student trying to be an attorney, right? It's
Yeah.
intimidating. But it got to the point where like I no longer like have a fear or feel like anxiety for public speaking. Like I told you, I think that one time with my class, I had to do a public speaking in front of my class for about like 5 minutes or something like that on like a random news article. And I won't ever forget it because I was in the class, the teacher's like, find an article and then speak. So I'm like, all right, I found my article. I don't need to do anything else. I see people like typing what they're gonna say. I see people writing down like word for word, like this is what I'm gonna say. And then they go up there and they just read word for word, or they kind of don't even look at it and they go, um, um, and it was like, for me, I went up there and I was like, okay, this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that. It just becomes second nature to you because you've done it so much and you've practiced it so much and you just become confident with it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that actually leads to one of my points that I have here. And the point is hard work leads to an intense confidence. And and you're probably like, what does that even mean? How does that transition? Well, my last point in regards to being uncomfortable to get comfortable is when I remember, Eric, when I first started driving, that I don't know about you, but I could have sworn, Eric, that the roads were a lot more narrow when I
Mm,
first started driving. I just felt like there was no room on the road. I was very close to everything, the curbs, other cars. I felt like it was intense. Now it's
mhm.
like driving's very casual. I remember I used to be horrified of drive-throughs. I just felt like, no, there's no way I make this turn. Even though thousands of people do it a day. But it's that state of uncomfortability. It's like, you're testing
Mhm,
the waters again, but there's also that intent, I want to learn to be a better driver. I want to learn how to drive. And through
mhm,
practice, through experience, you have mastery. And that's where I want us to eventually get. Um and on the point of mastery is I don't know about you, Eric, but I do tremendous. Like the 5 days that I work a week, I do tremendous. Typically, I'm working out, either running with Louie, my dog, or going to the
mhm.
gym, um, or whatever it may be. But for some reason, Eric, on my 2 days off, I am like a starfish. I swear I am, dude. I'm like a starfish. Don't move a muscle. I don't want to do laundry. I don't want to make breakfast. I don't want to run errands.
Mm.
I'm like I don't even know what. I don't even want to leave the house. I'm like looking at the blinds, closing them. I don't want to I don't want to do anything on my days off.
Hermit the crab.
Yes, dude. Yes, and I'm serious. Like, and my fiance thinks it's funny because she'll be at work. And she'll be like, "Oh, can you run and get this?" And I'm like, "No, like I don't want to run and get this. That's my day off." But for some reason, like if there's any time to do laundry, if there's any time to clean the house, if there's any time to do this or that, it's on your days off when you have all day. No, not me. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And what I found to do is that once you start the day doing something, you more than likely commit yourself to doing that for the rest of your day.
Yeah, and that's what
For
I don't want.
Yeah. So, like, for example, if you're like, I should probably get some stuff done today, then it's like you wake up and that very first, like after you had your cup of coffee, like start working, start
Yeah,
doing it. Don't try to like put it off. Like, okay, I got all day. I'll do it at. I'll. This is where that I'll do it
yeah,
later comes in. Like, okay, I get started at in the afternoon. No, like just do it right away, and then you start getting on this like snowball effect, domino
yeah.
effect, and it just starts going, and then at that point you're like, wow, I finished all the things I needed to do. I have like 6 hours left, now I can be a starfish or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It's super tough, and this isn't like recently. This has always been a thing with me. Like, and the craziest thing is like when that Monday hits, not literally a Monday. For example, 2 days ago was my Monday. Today's my
Hmm.
Wednesday at work, quote unquote Wednesday, for those who are just listening. On that first day back after 2 days off, I'm on fire. I wake up, breakfast, let's work out, shower,
Hmm.
get ready for work. I'm at work, I'm present. And then for the next 5 days, I'm on fire. And then on that fifth day, man, you already know, like, okay, I could do this on my days off. Um, but I didn't know if it was okay to take those 2 days off to kind of blend in what you got to do,
Hmm.
or you just got to be beast mode and 7 days a week. You just got to keep it going.
I think there's a philosophy behind it, and my philosophy is the mind to body connection that you have, right? So
Yeah.
let's just say you're working, right? You're working, and just sometimes you need that like mental break, right?
Hmm.
That mental like restart, like you just need to break it down and make those connections between your mind and your body again, so that when you go back into your work week or you need to do something with your task or whatever it might be, you're in connection, you're in sync, and then that way you're moving on all cylinders. So sometimes you need that day off or even 2 days off if mind is just not in that right state of mind.
Yeah. I like to look at it that way as like a reboot, those 2 days
Hmm.
to kind of reboot. I've just been more on the lazier side lately, probably because it's just been moving a lot of driving. I hate driving, Eric. So and I live like 8 minutes away from where her parents' house, my fiance's parents' house. So we don't even live that far. But I like that perspective of just consider it as a reboot. And I just have to compromise with myself. Lately,
Hmm.
I've just been taking those 2 days off, and I think it's okay. But I think now it's time to challenge myself to maybe uh, only take one complete day off and then be a little bit more effective.
You gotta think about it this way too. I mean, we're humans. We're not like robots, right? We're not gonna be consistent on a daily basis as far as like, oh, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, and
Yeah.
as far as like our emotions, right?
Uh-huh.
Our body, our everything else. So there's gonna be days like I need to do this, but like my body's telling me, oh, wait, hold up,
Yeah. Yeah.
hold up, hold up. We better slow your roll there. And then that's where you kind of make those judgment calls of like, I better take this day to get right with myself, or I better take this day to get my body healthy or fix myself because you need to take those times or else you're
Burn
gonna
out. You're gonna burn
you're gonna
out.
burn out. Life's a marathon. You can't sprint to the finish.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. And like you said, it's that mind body connection. The only way to find that answer is you have to sit down and figure out where you're at. Where's your mind
Mm-hmm.
at? Where's your body at? And what are the things you got to do? Eric, how's your sleep schedule lately? Mine's been horrible to say the least,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one of those things, man, where I feel like it's gonna get better pretty soon. Pretty soon now we got our own place, we can kind of work
Yeah.
around our own schedule. Just try
Yeah.
not to be rude and pop in or whatever here at her parents' house.
Yeah. Uh, mine has been okay. Right now, it's been a little bit out of sync. Like I said, I'm trying to get back in my schedule. I'm trying to get my schedule down. But I just keep getting distractions. Things just come up and it's not like intentional. So I just have to adjust for those. But then as soon as I stop having these like distractions and things
Yeah,
that I come in, then I
yeah,
can get back into that schedule that I've been trying to get into. So it hasn't been the best lately, but it also it's life. Like, things
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
So just gotta
Yes,
roll with the punches.
sleep's precious too, not in the sense of like um you get to sleep in or you feel rested. No, sleep's precious in the sense of like it really determines how engaged you are in that next day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard to really buy into that idea because in the present, you're awake, you're active, you've already done so much during the day that you
Mm-hmm.
don't really take into account the rest, the investment in your rest for that next day
Mm-hmm.
to have another excellent day. And again, it starts with the freaking mind, man. It really does. It starts with the mind. You have to, yeah, oops, sorry. You have to decide for yourself, like the burden that you're going to carry the next day and the importance of executing the next day. And it is that serious, you guys. It really
Mm-hmm.
is. Like Dr. God said, you could only do so much. You could either stay up and mope around the next day or get some rest and be your best you.
Mm-hmm.
And as simple as that sounds, it's so crucial to get rest. So this is something that I've been definitely
Mm-hmm.
trying to push myself towards. And again, challenging yourself, you guys, isn't doing 50 push-ups with one hand. It's not balancing something on your head. Sometimes it's as simple as creating a work schedule like Eric said,
Mm-hmm.
creating some type of pattern, fighting distractions, finding that balance. And for me, guys, the challenge lately is definitely premeditating a sleep schedule, something that's going to work for me, something that's going to keep me healthy for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
I think that's a lot of problems with people now is they just can't sleep. I know that a lot of people who just really can't sleep, and sometimes it's like you saying what they don't premeditate, right? They sit on their phone or they don't really put their mindset to going to bed. You know, they just kind of just try to stay awake, I guess. They just didn't think like, okay, I got a big day tomorrow. I need to really get some rest, or I better put the phone down. I need to get some
Yeah.
rest, or I need to sleep because I'm restless. No, it's
Mhm.
you need to find like I said, that mind body connection and that communication between the two, and figure out what works for you. Whether that's like doing jumping jacks or push ups before you go to bed. Sometimes that helps,
Mhm.
but sleep is like you said, it's essential. It's you need to have your sleep to one, have your body to recover from itself, right? Your
Yeah.
body needs to heal itself. Your body needs to retain all that information and things that you've done from the day. And
Mhm.
two, it just needs that mental break. Just like, okay, restart.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's just been on my mind heavy because I feel it. We all feel it when we don't get enough sleep. We're just not there. We're just not our quality self. Especially with me, I work with youth, and they could be high energy. And if I don't get the rest that I need to reciprocate, to bring back that same energy, I feel like I'm cheating them. And so that's why I'm like, no, I really got to fix myself a schedule, something that's gonna do my fiance good, do me good, and my clients good. Um, but I just wanted to see where you're at. I want to, again, this podcast is about my accountability. It's
Mhm.
about mindset, and it's about working through it together. Um, Let me see. I'm just looking at the notes really quick.
How have
Um,
you been on, the gym?
I've been doing okay. I've been doing a lot of boxing workouts. Louis and I got Louis. One of his legs was sore because I've been taking him running so much. Just
Oh,
at the
wow.
track in here in what is it called? The Highland track.
Mhm.
Um, for some reason, I don't know if it's anxiety or something for him, but he doesn't like to run on the street, like the sidewalks anymore. So
Mhm.
I've just been taking him to the track, and he's done a lot better. And I think I mentioned it before, but Louis would we would go in the neighborhood running, and then he would just slam, he throw his little hooves down and then slam, and then he would not want to move with his big old
Mhm.
eyes. And I'm like, Louis, come on, and he wouldn't move, and he would try to slip out of his harness.
Mhm.
And so I was talking to my lady, and she's like, maybe he doesn't feel comfortable on the streets anymore, all those cars and stuff. And so we've been going to the track. We've been running about maybe between 2 miles and 3 miles a day ish.
Mhm.
My right hand's sore, my right hook is sore a little bit. So I've been going southpaw, using my right as a jab, and then my left as the hook.
Uh-huh.
Um, I've been hitting the bag uh, actively. We got two different bags, like the heavy bag and some softer one that you fill up with water.
Mhm.
um like jump rope. I'm definitely pushing myself still. Pushing myself. I'm hitting the chips a little bit more, Eric. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Um but as for my diet, I'm doing okay. I'm doing at least one meal healthy, where I can say
Yeah.
I'm not throwing the condiments on there, that type of deal. And
Mhm.
I'm taking it slow, but I'm being consistent. I'm really thinking about it. My fiance was impressed a little bit to see that I'm not going in, as some would say, on a lot of
Mhm.
snacks and foods.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good part too, is cutting back the diet. Sometimes that's a
Huge part, man.
and sometimes too, like I don't know about you, but for me, if I eat certain foods, I feel sluggish.
Oh,
I just feel like drained. I feel good that I ate it, but I mean, I just if I want to try and get something done, I'm like I need to avoid these foods.
yeah. Yeah. And the funny thing is, too, is I'll consider, for example, yesterday I had work from 7 to 3 p.m. And then I knew I was going to come home, meet up with my fiance, and we're going to be at our apartment all day, organizing, cleaning, unpacking, blah, blah, blah. I hit the chili cheese dog at lunchtime because I'm not going to run no miles. Okay. It's over. This day's over.
Yeah.
And because this day's over in my head, I threw down a chili cheese dog, with the little nachos on the side,
Mm-hmm.
light cheese, no pay sauce. Get that away. Um, yeah, so we ended up doing that, but my eating habit was it lined up with my day.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if I knew I had intentions to work out, I would have just skipped it, skipped the lunch that we're giving at my work.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, like you said, that's huge. Diet's huge, and it kind of like you said, you feel sluggish. So I knew I was gonna feel sluggish. I already knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, look, um, I'm not doing anything anyways. Pop, do that hot dog down.
Yeah. Even like the night before, you don't think about it too. Like if the next morning you have something in the morning, and you eat something that night, then it's like you're gonna suffer the consequences of the morning depending on what you eat. So
Yeah.
your eating schedule and your eating habits need to be really good depending on like what you're doing. And also portion sizes as well. Like
Ooh.
you can eat a bunch of good things and it be bad.
Yeah. You know what's crazy too, Eric? When I lost almost 15 to 20 pounds last year, just on dieting, Eric. Just
Oh
on
wow.
dieting. Yeah. I would do, let me see if I could. So I would do a scoop of oatmeal in the morning, throw berries in there, do toast on the side, bananas, honey, peanut butter. That was just breakfast. And then I would get to work. I would work for 2 hours. Then we would have our first break at work. I would do a granola bar, I would do like a yogurt, an apple, an orange, and then like tea. And then at
Mhm.
lunch, I would do like grilled chicken, rice, vegetables, a fruit, and then like a protein shake. And then my second, and I was eating, but these were like healthy meals,
Mhm.
low
Yeah.
calories, low carbs, and I was losing weight. So that just goes to show how important your dieting is too,
Mhm.
when when you're trying to lose weight, not just exercise. You can run 7 days a week, but if you're eating like a muck,
Mhm.
you're not gonna get no results. No way.
Rodolfo, let me ask you, how were you feeling, your mentality and your body when you were on that little diet?
Oh, tremendous, tremendous. I was sleeping like 8 to 9 hours a day. And it was like partially was purposeful. The other one it wasn't, is because we would be forced to do 10-hour shifts.
Mhm.
So in order for me to do 10-hour shifts, I would go into work at 2 in the morning and then leave work at 12 noon. And so that means the day before, if you rewind the clock back, I got to be in bed by 7, 6
Mhm.
o'clock, you know,
Mhm.
because I would have to get up at 12 at midnight or
Mhm.
around 1 to start getting ready to be at work at 2. So
Mhm.
I didn't really have a choice, but one thing that was true is, one, my sleep schedule was tremendous. I was never tired at 2 in the morning. And two, my diet was tremendous, Eric. I was
Mhm.
healthy, like to answer your question. I was fit. Um, and I felt like I was burning the food that I had just put down instantly,
Mhm.
because my body can work with that type of food.
Yeah. When you first started that diet too, were you uncomfortable with eating all those things, or was it like, "Yeah, I like these foods, I'm comfortable with this."
Yeah, so back to my point, step 2. So step 1 was, is this what I wanna do? Yes, I wanted to lose weight. Step 2, why am I doing this? Again, because I wanted to position myself while I was working at the warehouse to be able to go through those 10 hours like a savage, and I did.
Mhm.
There was a couple days where I worked those 10 hours, came home, did a 45-minute workout, shower, ate, went to bed, rinse and repeat. So I
Mhm.
was focused, laser focused. Was it uncomfortable? Yes. Yes, it was, because I definitely had options to not eat healthy. Like, I deliberately would meal prep.
Mhm.
I would defrost like a salmon, like a frozen salmon before work, come home from work, cook it for the next day for lunch,
Mhm.
for work. So, was it uncomfortable? Yes. Just like, come on, you guys. I love potato chips. Are you kidding me? I love potato chips. I love soda. I'm not a big person like will add sugar to like tea or anything. I'm not like that, but I will
Mhm.
drink like 3 or 4 cups of tea, of like Lipton tea, not no like green tea or nothing.
Mhm.
Lipton, like sweet stuff. Was it uncomfortable? Yes, but again, you have to groom your mind to be in sync, like you said, that mind body connection. And I had that, Eric. I had that mind body connection, and I think when you have that mind and body connection, um like that mountain doesn't seem too steep, to climb.
Absolutely. That's the essential part. Mind body is, I think,
It's
is
so
the most
crucial,
important.
man.
It's the
So
most, and that's
crucial.
what the hope that people get out of this podcast is that mind body connection. Is that
Mhm.
it's not just about uh trying to push your way through life with your, with muscles.
Yeah.
You need to use brain. You
Mhm.
need to use your mind, because sometimes the mind is much more powerful than your muscles could ever be,
Mhm.
in every aspect of knowledge, of wisdom, of learning experience, like just everything. Your mind is a powerful tool, and we're trying to give you the useful uh tools to
Yeah.
use it,
Yeah, definitely. That's all it is. That's all it is. The mind is like what are those things called, Eric, where they have multiple tools on 'em, like a pocket knife?
Swiss Army knife.
Yes, that's what your mind is right there. You have to take that time to gently pull one thing at a time. Okay, snap it back in. Okay. I know that's not gonna pop out and cut me. And then you kind of explore your mind. You figure out what works for you. You try to figure out what works for your schedule. And the
Mhm.
more familiar you get with it, the more on fire you seem to be.
Mhm.
If you look at any celebrity, artist, athlete, like I look at Ronaldo, from the soccer player. I look
Mhm.
at Messi, the soccer player, Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, all these just star athletes. Man, they look tip top Magoo every day, and it's not because they just flip a coin. They're very intentional, you know? They're very intentional with their behavior, with their lifestyle, with their diet. I was watching like a day in the life of like Canelo and Ryan Garcia, the upcoming boxers,
Mhm.
and they have chefs, Eric, personal chefs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'll give you a meal that he did. So for breakfast, he did wheat toast. He put them in the toaster while he was dicing up the avocado, and he mixed it with light salt. He mixed it with light pepper. He put some vegetables in that guacamole,
Mhm.
like some type of peanuts. He made it like a spread, like guacamole spread, and then
Mhm.
boom, threw it on that toast. That's his breakfast. That's what a rising star's breakfast looks like. You know what I'm saying? You got the
Mhm.
natural fats in the avocado, you got the carbs in the bread, and you're good to
Mhm.
go. He did a
Yeah.
workout lunchtime. He had a lettuce wrap, ground beef lettuce wrap, light onions, you know, seasonings, and then like light ketchup right on the
Mm.
top. Boom. That's what their diet looks like. And so when you see them perform the way they do at that level, you have to rewind the clock and figure out, well, what does their preparation look like? What does their
Mhm.
lifestyle look like? Or is it just a facade? Like, are they just talent? No, you know, there's things happening behind the curtains.
Yeah, and there are people though that have that just talent, and
Oh,
they have that natural just like, I don't have to really do anything
yeah.
and just show up and perform. But,
Hmm.
you also gotta think about it in the long run too, of whether or not that's gonna, always if you're
Sustain,
t
yeah.
sustain. You're taking a
Mm-mm.
huge risk if you get an injury, right?
Mhm.
You get that injury, then it's like, wow, I can't rely on talent anymore because that's kind of shot. So
Yeah.
now you're back to square one and finding a way to start again.
Yeah, and I think about LeBron James when we talk about coming back from like an injury and
Mhm.
how he's been able to do it so many times, so many different teams to win so many with different teams. And it's definitely his lifestyle that allows him to, it's not the money that he has. No, it's
Mhm.
what he does with that money. I think
Mhm.
like 2 years ago, LeBron spent over $2 million on his body,
Mhm.
on chirotherapy, on uh, chiropractor work,
Mhm.
massages, suction cups, you name it, yoga. You see his Instagram lives, you know,
Yeah.
when he's on fire. And so when he's able to get hurt, he's able to recover. You know, his diet's on point, his physique's on point. Again,
Mhm.
it's not rolling the dice. It's very intentional, and they understand the what could be at jeopardy
Mhm.
if they aren't able to bounce back, you know, and especially with sports, Eric, you have to be relevant. And the way you be relevant is you're on top. You know, I
Mhm.
see it all the time, Eric. Oh, like where they'll like I seen one post on Instagram where it was Ray Lewis, 52
Mhm.
for the Baltimore Ravens, Hall of
Yeah.
Famer, and there was like a Cleveland Browns veteran. They both played 20 plus years. They both had like literally the same exact statistics, but the only difference is that one stayed relevant. And this story's a little skewed. Obviously Ray Lewis was playing in the digital age, you know, social media, you can kind of do
Yeah.
interviews and live shows. So that he had that in his favor, but back to my point is just staying relevant. You got to continue to make those big hits, you know, and make a scene out of it. You know, you got
Mhm.
to continue to just be on top, just continue to perform. And in order to do that, it's a lot of preparation, a lot of work, a lot of discipline, a lot of routine, very repetitive.
Mhm. And it's not just in a short amount of time either. It's in a long
Oh
period of
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah.
Long period of time. I'm not
Hmm.
talking to weeks. I'm not talking months. I'm talking years. Years of just continuing to put in the work, to put
Hmm.
in the effort, being intentional, like
Hmm.
Rodolfo was saying, be
Yeah.
intentional with what you're doing, and it'll pay off. I guarantee you it will pay off. One day or the other, it will come. Your day will come. Just keep grinding, keep pushing. It will come.
Yeah, and honestly, my mindset has been like on the other, like what you said first, is just keep working, keep and it'll pay off. That's just where it's been. I'm not really focused anymore on like the destination, my next goal. I've just been like, I'm here right now. You know, I'm here right now. I need to do what needs to get done. Um, Sometimes I feel like it could take a little bit of your energy if you focus a little bit too much on where you're going.
Mhm.
It's good to have an idea. It's not good to throw to what is it? Throw darts in the dark. It's not good to do that. I'm
Yeah.
not saying to do that. All I'm saying is just get a grasp of what you want to do and make sure you're headed in that direction. It doesn't have to be like a word for word. It doesn't have to be like you know how you'll leave like a treat trail for your dog to follow. It's not
Yeah.
like that. Sometimes you go left, but make sure you're in that right direction. You know, and I say this because my coworkers at work are constantly talking about their job, what job they want to do in the future, if this is for, you know, just like blah, blah, blah. And
Mhm.
I'm just sitting there being a good coworker listening. And in my head, Eric, all I'm thinking is about like, you're wearing yourself out. Like I'm seeing them punch themselves in the face right now, just a left hook
Yeah.
here, right hook there. They're beating themselves up. They're burning energy, valuable energy on the what ifs and only ifs. And
Mhm.
and I think it's just important just to like be like, okay, well, where are you at now? Oh, you're at work. Well, work. Stop talking, you know, figure out something to do. You know, no wonder why you're pissed off, you know,
Yeah.
because that's all you're meditating on. That's all you're focused on. You're wearing yourself out of something that doesn't
Mhm.
even exist. You know what exists?
Yeah.
Your job right now. This is what exists. So do it, you
Yeah.
know?
Being present in the moment too.
Yes.
Um, what I was gonna say was too is that when you're looking at others too, you can't compare yourself to others, right? Because some people's
Hmm.
lives and direction and work ethics, it'll reach them sooner or it'll reach them later, or
Yeah.
even for you, it'll reach you sooner, reach it later, like that. But at some point, if you continue to put in the work and do whatever, you'll get where you're going. So
Yes.
don't be discouraged if you see some other person that's doing the same thing that you're doing,
Yeah.
but just getting it faster than you. Don't be discouraged at all because so just say, okay, good for you, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
get mine. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah, everybody's journey is different too. You know, everyone's journey, and I know how it feels to, you know, for example, I graduated a semester late, and I remember how it felt that everyone that I went to high school with was graduating at the same time. I felt a little FOMO, feeling of missing out, but it wasn't the end of the world. Like Eric said, I'm gonna get mine, and I did. You know, that semester I made sure that I was gonna be able to follow up right after them for college graduation. You know,
Mm,
but you have that mindset. You know, it's like, oh man, they're gonna this and question, but you just tell yourself, boom, I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna focus on me, and I'm gonna do what it takes to get this to get this done. And
mhm,
you groom your mindset that way, and it really carries into other areas of your life. But the most important thing is catching yourself in the moment and then just staying focused. You know, don't envy them. Spectate, you know, analyze their lifestyle, where they're at, but at the end of the day, you got to reel it back and focus on yourself.
yeah, and it doesn't make you any lesser either, just because you like didn't reach it before or before them,
Right, right.
or you didn't achieve it as much of a high of a standard. Like, no, everybody, like we talked about it before on our podcast. Everybody has success in
Mhm.
their own personal way, right? Success and is not measured by cars and ranking or anything. Success is
Yeah.
just completing what you've set out to achieve.
Yeah, I like that. Success is definitely relative. Like it depends. It all depends on where you're at in your life. You know, um, for example, a druggie who's on drugs for years finally becomes sober, and they're working at the 99, and sure they're not making enough to provide for themselves, maybe just a room to rent. That's all they can afford with their $99 cent store check. That's
Mm-hmm.
success. They're sober. You know, they're
Mm-hmm.
not hung out, sprung out on drugs. They're slowly getting in a better position to succeed in life. You know, it starts
Mm-hmm.
off with what's holding you back, and then you kind of just take things baby step, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
that's it's a very microscopic level to think about success, but like you said, success comes for everyone differently, you know. It's different for everyone. You know, Oscar de la Hoya, which was a great boxer growing up, you know, in the early thousands, 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
He was a he was like an undefeated star, blah blah blah. But man, he was sprung out on coke and alcohol. You know, is that successful? You know, it's up to you. But to me, not really. Not when you're not being loyal to your wife. Like not when you start taking those things in consideration. You know, so it's not always the physical that's success. You know, I always think about like married men who either have drinking problems, anger issues, whatever it may be. And to me, I look up to Eric. I don't know about you, but I look up to like your father, who who's engaged now, and my fiance's dad, who's married for his wife for 20 years. Like I look up to men like that,
Mhm.
And when I see them, not necessarily following through with being a man, but when I see them not following through being a man, it hurts me because I no longer look up to them. Not because they're not my style, they're not up to what I expect or want them
Mhm.
to live up to. It's not that. It's
Mhm.
just, to me, it's important to follow through 100%. Like success isn't having a car and a job. No, success is being loyal. Success is being disciplined. Like
Mhm.
that's success. The easy stuff, that's the easy stuff. The home, all that.
Mhm.
The hard stuff is being disciplined at work. Being disciplined. On your free time, just stuff like that. Those are the things that really resonate with me for sure.
Yeah, everybody wants to get the trophy and be successful, but nobody wants
Yes.
to put in the work and do what it
Yes.
takes to get there. So that's something that is really hard to reiterate or really hard to get in people's heads. But we're hoping that this podcast can be able to teach you that, you can't just achieve success without pain, suffering, and consequences,
Right.
right? You
Yeah.
gotta you gotta work for it. You gotta
Hmm.
make sacrifices, and you gotta take time to build yourself and be a better you than where you were yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I agree. Well, that's everything from Eric. Do you have anything you want to add?
Nope, just everybody else, just keep working, stay focused this week. If you have a lot of problems with distractions, just know that you got to get right back on the path. Like you could take a little break, you could do a little detour, but just make sure you never lose focus on your end goal, and you go back to your path, your schedule, whatever it might be.
Hmm.
Stay focused.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You guys, we do have a special guest next week. We're still trying to figure out the deets on that. But Eric, your mother, right? She's gonna be on the podcast.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to this because
Me too, man. Me
my mom
too.
is a single mother working, getting her bachelor's degree, and wow, I'll tell you, there's a lot to unpack for next week.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. I did get confirmation with my mother. She's working on a book. She did tell me she switched publishers, or editors. So she's still in that. It could be a month or so, maybe 2 months before she publishes it. But I want to get her on the podcast to familiarize you guys with her story. Very similar. She was divorced, single mother. I don't really want to tell her story because it's very special, coming from her, but very heavy story. I feel like it could reach out to a lot of you guys.
Hmm.
We also have other special guests. We got a few photographers interested in joining the podcast. We got someone working crypto, who can kind of break down the whole Dodge to the moon thing. So we definitely have a lot of things cooking up in store for you guys. I know Eric and I were talking last night, of just how much we're going to learn from them, how much networking we're going to get from them, being able to dip into different communities,
Hmm.
and just experience, different mindsets.
Hmm.
We want to know the mindsets of other people. And that's the biggest question I get from people, Eric, is,
Hmm.
well, what's your podcast about? And I'm like, it's about your lifestyle. It's about your mind, like how you're able to balance, whatever you're doing. And a lot of these people have shown me some success, and again, that word is very relevant. I think people think of like a medal or some type of plaque, but
Hmm.
in my head is them being consistent with their uploads if they're a photographer. Show
Yeah.
me your latest photo shoot. Boom. Oh, this is it. Dang, these pictures look good. And I want that. Like, how are they able to post a photo shoot every week? How are they booking photo shoots 3-4 times a week at 300 a
Hmm.
piece?
Hmm.
They're doing something right, Eric.
Right.
Wait. While they're in grad school, okay, you got to get on the podcast because the way you're juggling all these things successfully, there's some secrets that we got to unpack.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, well, that's gonna do it, you guys. Thank you for tuning in for another week of the Mindtality podcast. I'm your host, Rodolfo Felix,
And co-host Eric Ogaz.
and we'll see you guys in the next week. Peace.
Peace.